Tesla stock, guys. Tesla stock has risen massively in the last week. Nothing's really happened. And there's all these articles on mainstream media. They're all CNBC. They're all saying, what's going on? Yeah, this is the reason. This is why Tesla stock's gone up. Well, is this the reason? I don't know about all that, guys. It's pure speculation. But I do know that there's been some interesting Tesla news. Here is 5 Tesla news stories over the past week, which I think are worth hearing about. Let's get to it. 2 minutes for each story. So we'll try and get it under 10 minutes. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. A couple of my friends have recently bought Teslas. Exciting to see. Tesla Model Y Junipers. So I'll be doing a test drive comparison with the Model Y versus my Xpeng G6. We're going to really see which is the better car. That'll be coming up very soon. Tesla has slightly changed the battery in the Model 3 that they make in China. So if you get the Tesla Model 3 from China, which is Europe, the UK, Australia, Thailand, many countries, if you get the Chinese-made version, it now has a little bit extra range. The battery size has increased from 60 kilowatt hours, it's a lithium iron phosphate battery, to 62.5 kilowatt hours. So a 2.5 kilowatt hour increase in size, which is not huge, but it still does increase the range by a little bit, by about 7 kilometers. The price is the same. Everything else is the same. And Tesla is offering some pretty decent discounts on inventory stock. Now, what is the difference? The difference between the standard range Tesla Model Y and the long range all-wheel drive. The standard range uses a 62.5 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery, gets around 520 kilometers of range. Now, the long range all-wheel drive is about $10,000 more expensive, but it does have an extra motor and it has an NMC battery. So because of that, it has an extra 109 kilometers of range, an extra 109 kilometers of range, so 629 kilometers for the long range all-wheel drive versus standard range rear-wheel drive, 520 kilometers. Tesla also they are testing their full self-driving here in Australia. So Tesla's full self-driving, many people have bought it. They can't actually use it yet, but that could be about to change very soon. And interestingly, that has coincided a little bit with Tesla's stock price going up. Are investors thinking, well, Tesla full self-driving won't just be approved in the US? Will it be approved in other countries? Not this year, but in future years. I think that's one potentiality. So here's what Tesla have said. Full self-driving, if you buy it right now in Australia, 10,000 Australian dollars, that's about $6,500 US dollars. So it's relatively affordable. It won't be turned on. Tesla say it's pending development and regulatory approval. A video released by Tesla on X today shows a car which was using full self-driving, completing Melbourne's hook turns. So we have trams in the city, and we have these weird hook turns where you have to go to the very left side of the road in order to turn right. And it's really strange. People from overseas come and they're like, what the hell? This is crazy. And I've got to have been, when I used to go to the city, I didn't go to the city all that often growing up, and I'd go there and I'd think, this is so weird. Anyhow, Tesla's car was seen doing that and it had no problem. So it actually seems like it's full self-driving. It's working pretty well from the limited testing that we saw. However, Tesla hasn't just posted a full self-driving demonstration in Australia, it's also posted one in France. So Tesla is working on full self-driving in China, in Europe, in Australia, clearly, in the United States, working on it in multiple countries. And Tesla have just shown full self-driving being tested in France. Now, it was actually shown navigating France's complicated Arc de Triomphe, and this area is quite challenging considering it's the craziest roundabout in the world. Come on, it's definitely the craziest. People always joke about how ridiculous it is. But anyway, it handled the roundabout quite well. It paused for cars when needed. And honestly, it was actually pretty impressive, I've got to say. Tesla they have fixed one really annoying problem, which I find a lot of Chinese cars have. Not just Chinese cars, to be honest. It's actually a lot of cars have these days. These monitors, they have these camera monitors that monitor your eyes when you're driving, and my goodness, they are extremely frustrating. It's one thing in the Xpeng G6, which I do think is overly aggressive. It sees that your eyes are not directly looking ahead for, I don't know, a couple of seconds, and bang, beeps at you. So Tesla had that problem, full self-driving when it's turned on. It's very strict. Tesla's saying, if you don't look straight ahead, we're going to beep at you and really kind of make sure you look ahead. So Elon Musk has responded. Someone said this is a bit crazy. Elon Musk has responded on Twitter, on X, and said, yeah, you're right. And so they've made some changes. It's not as aggressive anymore, and it's not going to be so in your face. So that's a good change. Now, Tesla has also talked about a pretty significant safety addition with the new Model Y that has been, and I think it's very important because this will fix one of those sickening things that you've ever seen in your life. And when I say sickening, I mean it is like when you read the stories, and it happens, I wouldn't say all the time, but in every country in the world this happens. And there's at least a few times a year, parents leave their kids or animals in the car, they forget about it, and those children, and they die. And it is just horrendous to hear how this happens. And it does. But Tesla has talked about working on initiating a safety feature that comes standard with the Model Y. It's been developing it for a few years, and it's, I believe, now turning it on. They've been developing an in-cabin radar aimed at detecting humans left in the car that typical cameras would not detect. This was a feature that was initially developed to save the lives of children who die a few times each year from being left in cabins without air conditioning. And yeah, parents are just busy and they forget. Tesla already reported on this development of an in-cabin radar system years ago through Federal Communications Commission documents, which showed Tesla was hoping to gain approval for the wave sensor that would detect heartbeats instead of cameras. So even if the cameras in the car can't detect the person, it still can detect a heartbeat. So this new feature is in the current Tesla Model Y, which you can buy in the United States. I'm not sure about outside the US if that feature is available. It probably is, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's now available. Heartbeats and also using a camera to detect if there's anyone in the car when it's locked or people have walked away. One other interesting story, which I think is, Tesla's Optimus robot has been criticized very heavily by certain sections of media, certain electric websites. They're very, very critical. But I actually think it's not, I've been saying for a long time, I think it's probably not as big of an eyesore for Tesla as what many say. And the reason is because you can make a robot do fancy things. So Tesla's released this video of their robot dancing, and it looks very human-like. But guys, I'm not really sure that that's the key point here for Tesla. I think it's really getting the brain to be able to think and work things out, like full self-driving does. The way full self-driving doesn't need HD maps. It works out what's going on. That's exactly what Tesla's going to be using for the Optimus bot. So I've never criticized the Optimus bot for that reason, because I think that people are just like looking at what's shiny. When you see fool's gold, to me, it's fool's gold. It's exactly the same. Shiny, something shiny there. Look at the robot. Oh, it looks bad. It doesn't look good. But to me, that's not really relevant. What's really relevant is how it thinks and how Tesla's progressing with how it thinks. But anyway, there was an Optimus demonstration, and this week they caught headlines because they showed the robot performing impressive dance moves. Comments from Tesla Vice President of Optimus, Tesla bot Milan Kovac, revealed that the humanoid robot's movements were fully learned in simulation and zero-shot transferred to real without extra training. That's really important. Elon Musk later joked that he would be accompanied by a troupe of dancing Optimus robots at the Tesla annual shareholder meeting. But Tesla have said this, though. The robot is nowhere near its planned final form. And I mean, to me, that's surprising. It's going to be interesting to see what the final form actually is. Finally, a mysterious covered Tesla vehicles were spotted. Now, this was a couple of days ago now, but covered vehicles were spotted at Tesla's driving up and down Tesla's test track, which is quite a long road. And no one really knows exactly what they are. If you do, let us know what they are in the comments. Maybe if you work at Tesla. The trip that spans 1.4 miles of road had several Tesla vehicles spotted by a drone operator, and they were also doing road tests near the Giga Texas staging lot. The two vehicles were accompanied by a Tesla Cybertruck. They looked like the new Model Y. Their front and rear ends were fully covered. Tesla is meant to be releasing a cheaper version of the Model Y soon. Is this the Model Y Performance, or is this the cheaper Model Y, or is it an entirely new vehicle? I've got no idea. Very interesting though. And I do think Tesla have said that within the next 2 months, they will have other more affordable vehicles on sale. What are they? How much will they be? Well, of course, a cheaper version of the Model Y. There's also the 7-seat version of the Model Y. And there's also a new vehicle that's meant to be coming out. So really interesting to see what's happening here. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I do think a lot of the drama around Tesla sales being criticized, really, all this a lot of this is sensationalist. It's sort of saying Tesla's dead. And a lot of commenters and a lot of forums been seeing on a lot of websites, Car Expert, for example, people just comment there and they say stuff. And Electric, they say stuff that I think is pretty sensational. Tesla's dead, they're finished, they're going to go bankrupt, all this kind of stuff. It's very, very common. And it's very, very emotional. If you see these kinds of comments from people, I would suggest they're not respecting what they say, because it's a very emotional reaction. We need a couple of months of having the new Tesla Model Y out this year to see where things sit. Do I think sales will be as good as last year for Tesla? No, I don't, even with newer vehicles. But I don't think it's as bad as what some of these drama queens are making out. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.